The next reader is Drew Petrilli, and he'll be reading another story. Lola. The tattoo gun sounds like a steel-winged wasp, and it feels like tattoos feel. It's made from the motor of an old Walkman tape player. The needle is guitar string, and the conductor is jury-rigged with some copper wire from some place. I asked the artist when the last time he changed the needle was. Don't worry, I sterilized it with a few matches. I ain't fucking around, Donnie. Block B is crawling with hepatitis, I say. Block B is the hep because Block B is a bunch of queers, he says through a Dutch master cigar. It ain't a queer disease, it's a needle disease. Then they're a bunch of damn junkies. A familiar pulsating cat scratch continues up my shoulder. The black homemade ink looks green in a tiny plastic cup from where Don draws. This is her flesh, and she is scarred so far in the shape of delicate crossed ankles, calves. Her thighs are big, her hips, her breasts. Sometimes I only remember what I want to. Don does good work. His reputation in the art is well known from the mess hall to the yard, from Block B to solitary. Prison tattoos are simple ones generally. A teardrop for death, a spider web for addiction, gang insignia, flowers, assorted jungle cats. Woman tattoos are special though. They remind us all of what's outside the iron bars, sniper towers, and razor wire, of what we all miss. I've even seen on some of the queers, done usually for their mothers. In Russian prisons, they say the tattoos are more concrete, each mark a definition. Geographic origin, criminal specialty, how many years incarcerated. I guess we're more abstract over here and in here. The women on our bodies can mean hope, or commemoration, or regret. So is this girl just for the sake of getting a pair of tits scarred into you? A little jack-off fodder? I say no. I know she's got a story. Yeah, don't they all, Don says. He wipes away the blood and ink with a wet rag. Outline's done. Want to take a look? I take a look. I stare at her body empty of detail so far. Her eyes are as big as I told Don they were. She stares back through a dirty mirror. I'll start from the bottom, he says. I tell him to make the hair good and curly. She's almost beautiful. We're going to be a while here. Be a good customer and tell me about what I'm sticking on here. I look at her on my arm, and she looks at me with her big eyes. Go on, tell him all about me, she says. Hand me one of them Newports you got in your pocket, and I'll tell you all about her. Don reaches in his shirt pocket to oblige, hands it to me. I light it and say, so this is 98, I'm about 20 at the time. Don nods, putting some gray shading in her feet. Me and this girl are at what you'd call a swingers party. He smiles. We're both nursing a bottle of scotch, and she's looking better with each rip. Looking like she always did, really. Long red hair, curly, these green eyes as big as golf balls. She had this mouth, too, this smile. Don starts shading Lola's calves. All right, you got a good-looking girl, then what? Don says. I correct him. Beautiful girl. Sure, he says. Girls, scotch, swingers, go on now. Swingers party, so we're all ripped up real good, about 24 people in all. Liquor, coke, the whole deal. It being a swingers party, we start getting naked when everyone's had enough to drink and such. So now, all fucked up, everyone starts trading each other's girlfriends, boyfriends. Oh yeah? I didn't want to that night though. I've been swinging with people I knew for a year or so at that point, so usually I'm not the jealous type. I've seen plenty of my girlfriends getting fucked across some dark room and they saw me banging away at somebody else. But all I wanted was her that night, my girl. Her curls, that mouth, her golf ball eyes. Don moves the needle up to her hips. And we look at each other, and I knew she didn't want to share me either. I just knew it. I laugh because I can't cry. So we're looking at each other right in the eyes. Christ, I'll never forget that shade of green, and how deep she'd stick her tongue in my mouth. I have to pause, and Don looks up. He tells me I was a lucky guy. So we get to it on the kitchen counter of the place. Ha-ha! About fucking time, he says, shading her left breast. And she's wetter than I've ever felt before. We went real slow at first. I pause. Don concentrates on those breasts. And it gets hot, man. I mean hot. I'm biting her lips. She's tearing chunks out of my neck. We're going faster and faster. It gets so intense that I got a dozen people around the room in mid-fuck looking over at us because she's screaming so loud. The smile fixed in my face leaves quickly, back to the past where it came from. I begin to wonder if one tattoo is going to be enough to make this right. It won't make a fucking thing right, I think. But I'll make do with what I have in here. We all do. Jesus, you're giving me a hard on over here, Don says. He finishes shading Lola's breasts and then moves to her neck. My words wouldn't come for a full minute. 2, maybe. Hang on there, Don. I'm hurting like hell. How about a break? Alright, but I need some closure on the story here. I stand up and walk to the bars to examine the block, hanging my head out of the cell a bit. I hear the guard's hard leather soles tap down the corridor, his nightstick dragging across cold cement walls. Someone yells something and another yells back at him. It's all I can do to wipe my eyes and pray Don doesn't see. I tell him it was just allergies. Bullshit him that much at least. Ready to finish her up? Yeah. He makes a couple of lines on her neck. So we're going real fast now, and I turn her over and start from behind. Yes sir, Don laughs. And I pick her up and move real quick to a sliding glass door. Too quick. So quick I fucked her straight through the thing. Crash. Don laughs. My eyes are wet and I can't hide it. I don't want to move. This scar must be perfect. The glass explodes and we fall, and she let out the littlest yelp. After I recovered my wits and realized exactly what it is I'd done, God damn it, I nearly pissed myself laughing. I couldn't help it. So I checked myself over, figured I'd only done about $50 worth of damage. And I was still laughing when I turned her over. It occurred to me right then that she hadn't been laughing with me. I looked at her and those big eyes of hers just stared, and there it was. I look at the floor and a familiar numb comes over me. It starts at the base of my spine like always and spreads through my back, my head like very cold fingers. Don stares at his work, then at me. I say, a huge goddamn shard of glass right in her throat. I blink and some water falls to the floor. It was in her throat and I was drunk and stoned and I didn't know what to do, so I pulled it out. I just pulled it out. Fuck me, Don says quietly. The blood poured and poured. She grabbed her throat and so did I. For fuck's sake, it looked like I was strangling her, and all I could do was say, baby, it's gonna be okay, baby, it's alright, baby, you'll be fine, just look at me. She did look at me. I don't know what she saw though. Don moves the needle to apply just the slightest touch of shade to Lola's face, giving her some real life. It was only about 2 minutes, maybe 3. Her eyes went limp. That shade of green just went away, gone. He was silent, put a few more curved lines in her hair. It really did look lovely. There were sirens later, and they packed her up. Then she was gone. I'll be fucked, Don says. He wiped off the blood and stray ink again, this time a little gentler, as if he cared about her now too. Well, she's all done. Take a look. I do. Walking over to the greasy mirror, I feel genuine fear. I look for a minute myself, my midsection, chest, arms, and my neck, my eyes. I turn to the side and there she is, burning bright in prison glass. She got a name, Don asks. My eyes water and my lips tremble and I stop short of a sob. Lucky. I haven't let a prisoner or a woman see me cry yet. Through the glass, she stares back. It's good to see you again, baby. Don did a nice job with your hair, didn't he? Scar doesn't answer.